Hey guys, it's Ashley with 3R Sales and Service. Today we're featuring the TPC. It's a turf protection cleaner built by BLR Warehousing and powered by us, 3R Sales and Service. So what this system does, it actually cleans the flooring, the stage decking, any type of barriers that you have, after, let's say, a concert at a stadium or whatnot. And that system will actually push through those pieces of decking, clean them from the top, from the bottom, and then you just stack them right up, throw them back in your storage facility until the next time you're ready to use them. So the main benefit of this is just a significant cost savings in labor to have that work done. And then of course, this wastewater system that's on here as well is a big savings in water. So let's go ahead, we'll kind of go through this system, what it all includes, and then we'll get to some more details a little bit later. So we have two hot water pressure washers. These are two high flow systems. The customer added some hose reels on here as well to make it a little bit faster for setup. The nice thing about this is a 28-foot trailer. So the nice thing about this is that the majority of the equipment that's up here is completely stationary. It stays in spot. It's already plumbed together, and it's just a more efficient way to kind of get this setup up and moving. So we have our equipment up here, the stationary, and then just the table and the cleaner itself are the only removable parts. So, sorry, I know I got the camera back there, but back to up here, we have our inlet hose. This is the hose that's going to feed the water tank. So once that water tank is full, then you're able to kind of start this system up. So your feed hose, this is for the cold water pressure washer. So we actually have 3 pressure washers on this whole trailer. The 2 hot water ones that are powering the TPC, and then we have a cold water unit that's a little bit smaller, a little less flow, that we can use to just do cleanup either before or after, so that you don't have to power up one of these bigger units to do that. Or you can have a third person doing that cleanup while they're still using everything. These 2 hoses here are what connect to that TPC to get everything started. This is our water recycle and reclaim system. So it reclaims the water, it puts it through a 3-stage filter and pushes that water right back into your water tank. So you have minimum water usage as you're going through this. Moving down, this is our cold water pressure washer. And then here we have our tables. There's actually 2 tables, one to feed and then one for the outgoing side. We have a toolbox to store backup filters, additional hoses, the wand assemblies, any miscellaneous things in here. And then we've got our TPC cleaner itself. So like I said, that component will come down, and then these 2 tables will come down, and then you'll pull hoses from the reels to connect those together. So a pretty quick setup time and a very quick tear down time. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go into a little bit more detail about how the system works and how to go ahead and start everything up. We've already removed the TPC and the tables from the trailer, and we've got those all set up down there. We've already kind of pre-assembled the hoses and started to fill the tanks, but just for time's sake, we'll go over everything without having to do all of that on camera. So our 525-gallon tank, it's filled about halfway. We were able to prime the pumps and everything. We'll get to that next. But in order to do that, you take this hose, you connect it to your water source, and that will fill the tank. When it fills, it's going through that filter up top, preventing a little bit of debris from getting in your tank. And then once it gets in that tank, like I said, it has to be filled at least halfway for you to prime your pumps. If you're going to be using this for an extended period of time, go ahead and fill that all the way up. We only have it halfway for demonstration purposes. Our 2 hot water pressure washers, these are high flow, 8-gallon a minute pressure washers. They are hot water rated, and all of that hot water just expedites the cleaning process. It makes it a lot easier when you have hot water to work with. We can build these with cold water systems as well. So in order to prime these pressure washers, there are valves on the pump at the rear that you will turn. Once you see water coming out of them and there's no more air coming through that water, once it's a steady flow, you're going to go ahead and turn that off, and that's when you know your pump is primed. And you'll do that to pressure washer number 1 and pressure washer number 2. There's one on each side here. The hose reels that we have, this one's for our cold water 5-gallon pressure washer, which is just beside the wastewater system here. And then these 2 are for the hot water pressure washers. So you'll see we've already got these hoses pulled, and they are down there and connected to the TPC unit at the end. Next, we have our wastewater system, and what we do to prep this is we take this 55-gallon tank and we have to fill this up halfway. You can actually use this hose here before it's connected to your system. You can drop the end of this hose right into your tank, flip on the system to get water into it, and that kind of primes everything in order to use for an extended time. Once that is done filling, then you'll take it out of your water tank and you will connect it down to the rinse basin or the catch basin at the bottom of the TPC cleaner. Other than that, once you have water into that system, it's going to kind of push some water into the pump and everything that's in there, and that's kind of what you need in order to get everything ready to go. Moving on down, so the cold water pressure washer that we have here, this is strictly used for just cleanup. So you don't really need to do anything to prep this before you start cleaning with your TPC system. If you wanted to go ahead and prime it and get it ready, it's the same concept. There's a valve right here on the pump head that you just open up, get that water flowing through there steadily, close it back off, it's ready to start. We didn't talk about the toolbox prior to that, but this is where we have all of our spare components, our wand assemblies, extra filters, extra hoses, all of that stuff stored right in here inside a locking box. Moving down to the TPC, we've already got the table laid out, and it's bolted right to this cleaner right here. And then you'll know you have it on the right way whenever this panel is facing right down and going into this panel here. That allows us to have any extra water that's falling from there to go right into the cleaner. These are connected right here, the 1/2-inch connections. These are the high pressure hoses for the hot water pressure washers. They just connect right into here, nice and easy to access. This is your access panel for the cleaning heads inside. And you can see down here we have the catch screen. That's where the majority of the debris is gonna fall. And then the water will just go right through and down into your recovery line. That recovery line will suction all of that water back to your recycle system. And we'll walk on down there and kind of do the whole process. As that water travels back through this recycle system, it's going to go through a 3-stage filter process. So every filter it goes through, it just cleans that water a little bit more. And then once it gets completely through there, it feeds right into your water tank. So it's kind of a closed loop system. Once you have your tank filled, it's completely closed loop. You can leave your garden hose attached if you want a continuous water source feeding to it. It's not necessary. You might just have to stop and refill your tank every now and again because you will have a little bit of water loss just from water sticking to the panels that are being pushed through or just misting out the sides. Once the water goes back in there, it is clean enough to just continue using through that system. So everything works out really nice. It's a very quick and efficient way to get everything out and hooked up and get going. None of these components need to be removed from your trailer at any time. The only components that get removed are the ones that are already down there and hooked up to your hoses. The only other thing past operating the system is flushing the wastewater system. After you go through a certain amount of hours, there's a little meter on there that tells you when the system needs to be flushed. And then there's a whole process for flushing out that system. It takes a very short period of time to flush it, very easy to do. And then they have a dump valve on the other side of the trailer where all of the debris and dirty water will go out so that you don't have to worry about, finding a way to get it out of the system. So what we'll do next is we'll go ahead and fire everything up, kind of give you an idea how everything works.